Here comes the poor farmer's country bumpkin. When you think of a wedding, you imagine the couple wrapped in happiness, surrounded by family, friends, and loved ones, spending precious time together. Never would I have thought that I'd hear such demeaning words about my parents at such a beautiful occasion. Just being invited to attend my daughter's wedding, why should they be subjected to such cruel words? Right after, my usually quiet father said, "Let's go home." Yes. That one phrase seemed to set everything in motion. Both Emily and her husband would come to regret the words they carelessly uttered. I always said to take responsibility for your own words, and this truly applies to them. Being elite or whatever, it's useless if you forget what's important. People who don't understand the importance of gratitude need to be taught that there are consequences for such behavior. I'm Hannah Bongard, and I just turned 28 this spring. I live in what you'd call a regional city. I think I lead a convenient life. Most things are accessible by car, and most of my friends live nearby. I never found living in my hometown inconvenient. I'm not into flashy lifestyles, so it's just right for me. Since the field I wanted to study was available at a local college, I commuted from home. After graduating, I was hired by a local specialty food company and still live with my parents. I work hard on weekdays and enjoy shopping with friends or my mom on days off. It's not glamorous, but I find fulfillment in these days. I have an older sister, Emily, who has always been the opposite of me, so we haven't gotten along since we were young. Emily has always been interested in fashion. I could tell even as a kid that she was fascinated by the trend-setting lifestyle of New York. She filled her life with her own style and fashion, always enjoying her outfit of the day. I think she was one of those popular girls in school. Always flamboyant, surrounded by friends, enjoying fashion and makeup, I used to think Emily was amazing. I had no interest in fashion, preferring to enjoy my beloved books and daily studies. Meanwhile, Emily was the type who didn't care much for studies and was always focused on fashion. It's strange how different sisters can be, but I guess that's just how it is. I never thought much about our differences. But Emily seemed to feel ashamed of being related to plain me. She often made sarcastic remarks. An incident from our high school days still haunts me. One day, I brought Emily her forgotten lunchbox to her classroom. When I called her name, I saw her in the center of a loud group of boys and girls. "Hey sis, you forgot your lunchbox, so I brought it for you." Emily looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before and came over, glaring at me from the doorway. Snatching the lunchbox from my hand, she whispered something unbelievable. "Don't talk to me outside like I'm your sister. It'd be embarrassing if people knew you're my sister. Just bringing a forgotten item, and you say that." Then she raised her voice, waving the lunchbox, and returned to her group. "I guess I left my lunch at the bike racks. Some underclassmen found it and brought it to me." Laughing loudly, she intentionally let go of the lunchbox, making a loud crash. "My parents said I don't need to bring lunch, but they made this boring one anyway. Can't eat this, let's go to the cafeteria." Emily just walked off with her friends to the cafeteria, leaving behind the lunchbox. Despite our mom waking up early to make it along with mine. That lunchbox was just left lying there on the classroom floor, discarded. All I could do was stand there and stare at it. Since that incident, I've been keeping my distance from Emily. We don't really fight, but we don't chat much either. To me, it's just senseless and unbelievable to treat a lunch made with such care so carelessly, wasting it. But Emily doesn't seem to think so. If we can't understand each other, it's better to keep some distance. Emily often talked about wanting to go to New York, so after high school, she went off to a college there. Not that she had something she wanted to study in New York. I can't stand the idea of spending my college years in such a backwater. I'm finally a college girl, I want to enjoy fashion and social clubs, you know? It seemed like she just wanted an excuse to leave this area and our home. She chose her college based on the fancy name of the department and quickly moved out. After slacking off for 4 years, she joined the workforce, but people's true nature doesn't change after college. In fact, I feel like she's gotten worse. After college, she drifted apart from her friends and seemed to have no one to vent her work frustrations to. She started calling me more often, as if begging for someone to listen to her complaints. The things she talks about are so unbelievable, they give me a headache. Listen to this. "My boss has no eye for talent, it's so annoying. Calling in the middle of the night, what's up? It's just awful. The report I spent 5 days on? He won't use it. Trying to calm down a loudly complaining Emily on the phone, I listened to her rant. He won't use it? Did something happen? He said the format wasn't right, but come on. If it's not the right format, why not just redo it as instructed? But I don't really get it. More importantly, isn't it terrible that he won't use it even though I worked so hard? I understand that the end result is what matters, even if it took days to complete a task. But Emily just doesn't get it. She sees herself as a victim of a terrible boss who doesn't appreciate her hard work. Dealing with her woe is me attitude is just too much for me. I was getting fed up with her constant complaining when she dropped a bombshell. By the way, I'm quitting my job next month to get married. I'm bringing my fiancé home to meet the family soon. I was shocked in so many ways, my voice came out weird. The sudden decision to quit her job was surprising enough, let alone her getting married. I know all about Emily's ex-boyfriends, and she's dated all kinds of guys. Lately, she's been saying over the phone that she's definitely going to marry rich, but honestly, I can't imagine who she'd end up marrying. You're quitting your job. And getting married? Yeah, I mean, I work hard, but my boss nitpicks about tiny mistakes and formatting issues. I just can't deal with it anymore. Wanna know about my fiancé? What's he like? You always said you wanted to marry a wealthy, handsome guy. Actually, he's a banker in New York, 5 years older than me. He's in sales and really good at it, so he has to travel for work a lot. I was at a loss for words, stunned on the phone. Oh, that's good for you. Talking to Dad and Mom about it is such a hassle, just pass the message for me. We'll set up a day to meet. Emily has always had this bad habit of dumping everything on me just because it's a hassle for her. I've given up on thinking she'll change at this age. I told my parents about Emily's message and that she wanted us to set a date to meet her fiancé. Looks like we can set it for Sunday afternoon in 2 weeks, around 3 p.m. Is that okay? Sunday's fine. I'll let him know. But on the promised Sunday, even when the afternoon rolled around, there was no sign of Emily and her fiancé. There was no reply to my messages, and I had no idea where they were or what they were doing. Wonder what's going on? They don't show up or call on such an important day. 2 hours of waiting and worrying if they'd gotten into an accident. The doorbell finally rang. Next to Emily was a tall man who introduced himself as Ryder Johnson. He had the refreshing smile of a salesman, a slender build, and smart movements. I found myself staring at him. He looked like someone straight out of a movie. Sorry for the delay. Got held up at a client meeting. Ryder's always busy with work, remember? Anyway, come in. Hannah, make some coffee and snacks for him. Actually, I just had coffee at the client's. I try to limit myself to 1 cup a day to avoid too much caffeine. Ryder looked around, sniffing disdainfully, making me feel a slight irritation towards him. Oh, really? Then I'll make decaf coffee. Were you the sister? I heard you work. I'm Hannah, Emily's sister. I work in an office at a local specialty food company. Oh, that place. Everyone knows too much caffeine affects your daily performance, right? But as the conversation went on, I started noticing something odd about this man. Everything he said seemed to irk me. He appeared self-absorbed, almost as if he was looking down on others. There was a disconcerting feeling while talking to him. And most importantly, I noticed right away that he lacked any words of gratitude or apology. Here's your coffee and snacks. This is decaf. Oh, right. Hey, isn't this cake from that department store's limited edition? The cream doesn't have much depth to it, kinda mediocre. Really? You think so too? Ryder, you have such a good taste. Well, I've been treated to a lot by clients, so I naturally pick up on these things. A cake deserves better cream, you know, something with more richness and depth. Emily and Ryder, with their fussy taste and know-it-all attitude, didn't even apologize for being late. They complained about the cake and coffee served. Frankly, I found Ryder's behavior quite rude. Even if he didn't like it, would anyone really complain so blatantly in front of others? But it was clear he was more impolite than I had imagined. This became evident when my parents met Ryder, who seemed to have just come from working in the field and had some dirt on his clothes. Thanks for coming all this way. I'm Emily's father. Oh, hi. Ryder glanced at my dad and immediately frowned. Sensing this, Emily started to scold my father. Wait, you're dressed like that for an engagement meeting? Well, I guess this is the best outfit your dad could manage. After all, we're in the countryside, not much variety in clothes. That's true. Not many places to shop around here, and sophisticated fashion is hard to come by. I was furious at their exchange. I wanted to retort immediately. But my parents, either oblivious to or ignoring Ryder and Emily's sarcasm, continued the conversation with smiles. So, Ryder, you're planning to marry Emily? Yes, I'd like to marry Emily. That's why I'm here. That's wonderful. Emily, you found such a fantastic man. Well, at my level, it's gotta be someone like Ryder to balance things out, you know? Emily replied, puffing up her nose. I had to bite my tongue at her words and continued listening as a member of the family. So, where will you two live after getting married? We're not sure yet. Ryder's so good at his job, he's always in demand at different branches. There's even talk of a promotion coming up. I'm being recognized for my performance in loan operations, even getting an award soon. I thought Emily could join the celebration as my wife. That's impressive. Quite the achiever, aren't you? My dad laughed heartily, drinking his tea, and my mom couldn't contain her excitement. Honestly, I didn't know what to do and just sipped my tea, which seemed tasteless, trying to process everything. As we talked, the topic shifted to their wedding plans. Are you two planning a wedding ceremony? Of course, we're planning to have it at a famous hotel in New York. I happen to know the manager of a hotel in New York, so we're thinking of getting him to arrange the wedding. Wow, that sounds exciting. I can't wait for the wedding. Emily and Ryder exchanged glances with sour expressions, as if they had just swallowed a bitter pill. Wait, you're coming to the wedding? A wedding is a place to express gratitude to those who have supported you and to declare your commitment to the future. Yet, I couldn't believe it when I heard that Emily didn't want our parents, her own family, to attend. Dad pretended not to hear and continued the conversation. In New York, huh? I've got farm work around that time. But maybe I can hire some help? Yeah, it's our busy season. We should arrange for help early. If we arrange for help now, we should be able to go. Haven't been to New York in decades. Maybe stay for a couple of nights? Mom and Dad were excitedly discussing it, but Emily cut them off. No, you don't have to come. Not come? Why? Well, Hannah told me Dad hurt his back doing farm work. Emily's gaze darted around nervously. Yeah, but it's a wedding, after all. Besides, Ryder's parents have already passed away due to illness and accidents, so it would really bother him. Mom covered her mouth in surprise, unable to hide her shock. I didn't know that. Sorry, Ryder. But we'd still like to see our daughter's big day. Emily jumped at the opportunity to speak up. How about live streaming the wedding? You can watch it in real time from home. I'd prefer to be there in person, but considering Ryder's feelings, watching from home would be okay, right, Dad? Yeah, I guess. Then Emily turned to me with a surprising request. So, Hannah, I want you to set up the live stream. You've always been good with computers, you can handle it, right? Me? Set up the live stream for your wedding? Think of it as helping your sister who's done so much for you. I wanted to question what exactly she had done for me, but I had a feeling refusing would lead to more trouble later. It wasn't impossible, so I reluctantly agreed. Okay, I'll take care of the live streaming. How many people are you expecting to watch? About 500, I guess. Ryder has a lot of work contacts, and it's hard to narrow down. He's well respected. Not just my current colleagues, but people from all over want to see my wedding. We've already cut down the list. I stood up, glancing at Emily and Ryder as they bragged. I'll talk to the venue and set things up. After that, Emily and I communicated more about the online wedding. With 500 guests, there was a lot to prepare, and it wasn't easy. I had to interact with Emily and Ryder during the preparations, but something kept bothering me. They seemed to mock me and our parents in their remarks. It felt like having a fishbone stuck in my throat, irritating and unsettling. I can't imagine spending my life just working on a farm. It's a job that doesn't require much thinking. Just physical labor. Working from dawn till dusk, covered in mud? That's pathetic. As the eldest daughter, I'd be troubled if they expected me to take over. And I definitely wouldn't want a family covered in mud. They spoke without any knowledge or respect for our parents. I knew from the meetings, but our parents had no idea Emily and Ryder thought this way. In fact, our parents always say how glad they are that Emily is marrying such a wonderful person, so they must truly believe it from the bottom of their hearts. I understood my parents' desire to see Emily's wedding. I once boldly asked Emily about letting our parents attend. Hey, about the wedding. What if we have relatives attend online, but just let mom and dad see it in person? They're really looking forward to seeing your big day. In person? At the wedding venue? Yeah. They always talk about your wedding at home. I know it's tough for Ryder, but can't we arrange just 2 seats for them? Then, Emily burst into laughter and said something unbelievable. No way. Ryder's parents and relatives are all coming, of course. What? But you said they were gone due to an accident or illness. Can't believe you fell for that. I had to say that because our parents were there. I couldn't believe my ears. Was Emily implying she didn't want our parents at the wedding? But it's a wedding, right? Isn't it a time to show gratitude to your parents? Having our plain, country-style parents at a fancy hotel would be so out of place. Besides, they'd be there as my parents. It would be embarrassing if people knew they were my family. So you were lying when you said Ryder's family wasn't around? Of course, it was a lie. Ryder's parents and relatives are all coming. I was shocked to hear Emily laughing on the other end of the phone. His parents and relatives, what do you mean? Ryder's parents are company presidents, sophisticated and elegant. I can't have them in the same room as our parents. It's just not right. So, you're intentionally not inviting our parents just for that reason? Having a president's family and some farmers together would be ridiculous. Anyway, I told them Ryder's parents were gone, so let's just stick with that. I ended the call with Emily, feeling angry and frustrated. Later, I continued to coordinate with Emily for the wedding. Then, one day, Emily and Ryder called me. Hey, what's up? I just wanted to tell you about the wedding. We've arranged seats for our parents, so please let them know. Really? They'll be so happy. Did you arrange this? Well, yes. After some consideration, we managed to make it possible for them to come. I was pleased to see Emily could be considerate when she wanted to. Thank you. Emily, Ryder, you must have gone through a lot to arrange this. Mom and Dad will be thrilled. But, can we get everything ready in time? Don't worry about that. We'll take care of the arrangements. Just tell them to come without bringing anything. I was surprised to see Emily being so well prepared. Emily always had this belief that others would sort things out for her. It was surprising to hear her say, just prepare yourself and come over, that's all you need to do. Got it. I'll let Mom and Dad know. You sure we don't need to bring anything? Well, I thought it would be too much to ask you to prepare everything at the last minute. Just come to the venue and you'll see. After hanging up, I immediately told my parents they could go to the wedding without worrying about preparations. They were overjoyed, almost jumping with happiness. Ryder must have a lot on his mind. We're grateful. It's nice to see Emily marrying into a family that understands people's feelings. It's common for parents attending weddings to rent their outfits and accessories. Knowing this, I wasn't surprised when Emily said to come empty-handed. I guess they'll wear rented tuxedos and formal dresses at the venue. I arrived at the venue early to set up for the live stream. While I was arranging the cameras and equipment, my parents arrived. I heard laughter when they appeared on the computer screen. Look at those country bumpkins from a poor farm showing up here. Wow, they really came with nothing. They don't belong in a place like this. How clueless can you get? In their dressing room, Emily and Ryder started mocking my parents too. Spreading their country stink all over this elegant place, aren't they ashamed? While my parents were getting ready, Emily and Ryder didn't stop their hurtful comments. It's unbelievable that they invited their parents to their wedding only to insult them for coming. I felt sorry for my parents, but I couldn't just celebrate Emily and Ryder's marriage without addressing this. I took the remote and pressed a button. Suddenly, their conversation in the dressing room was broadcasted through the loudspeakers throughout the venue. I also started the video on the computer. By pressing this button, the online wedding stream began. Emily and Ryder never expected it to be pressed before the actual ceremony. Their insults and cruel laughter echoed in the hall. The dressing room was soundproof, so they had no idea what was happening outside. Their offensive words continued to play for a while around the venue. Those who arrived early or were connected online for the ceremony must have been shocked. Hearing such harsh words from a bride in a beautiful white dress is unbearable. My parents finished their preparations quickly and were waiting near the venue, hearing every word. My usually quiet father stood up and said, "Let's go home." "Okay." My mother agreed, and they left the venue expressionlessly. Following their lead, other guests began to leave too. My parents were seen talking with people who seemed to be Ryder's parents. Inside the waiting room, Emily and Ryder were clueless about the reactions of my parents and the guests, which was ironically funny. The wedding staff rushed to Emily and Ryder, but it was too late. The venue was almost empty, with many noticeable vacant seats.
"What's going on here? Why is everyone gone? This is crazy, right?"
"The only crazy thing here is what you've done." They turned to me, startled. "Did you do something weird?" Emily muttered timidly, to which I responded firmly. "Isn't it your own actions that caused this?" Emily looked shocked. "Do you realize how your parents felt about this day?"
"Are you saying this is my fault?"
Emily glared at me angrily. Ryder, noticing the commotion, came running over. "Can you believe almost everyone left? How could this happen? Ryder, you're supposed to be well respected, right? Is this the respect you've earned?" Only a few people remained in the venue, looking uncomfortable and restless. Even the few people who remained at the wedding seemed uncomfortable, clearly restless from a distance. They looked like they didn't know what to do, which honestly made me feel a bit sorry for them, but it couldn't be helped. "Oh, by the way, there's someone I wanted Ryder to meet. Would you mind?" I said, calling over a woman. "Who is this?" "You wouldn't know her, Emily. She's Ryder's girlfriend."
"What? I didn't know about this. Why are you here?"
Ryder appeared to be shaking and looked as if he didn't understand what was happening. "Did you know Dad owns a small office building downtown?" "Well, sure, the one near the station, right?" "That's the one. He goes there sometimes to share the vegetables we grow on the farm. He got to talking with some of the workers there, and that's how he found out." Emily looked at me, her face saying she didn't understand what was going on. A woman Dad often chats with casually showed her phone once, and her lock screen had a man who looked just like Ryder, so Dad asked her about it.
"What? A lock screen picture of Ryder, what does that mean?"
When Dad asked, she said the man in the picture with her was her boyfriend.
"That's ridiculous, believing in such a soap opera story. How gullible can you get?"
I sighed. Dad didn't think it was actually Ryder either. But when he told the woman about Emily and Ryder's wedding plans, she said I thought so. That's when he decided to check it out himself. The woman, claimed to be Ryder's girlfriend, seemed lost for words and left the venue in tears.
"What do you mean? Were you seeing someone else too? I thought you only loved me." "No, it's not like that. She was just a fling, you are the real deal, right?" "That's not the point. Stop joking around."
Then, I decided to reveal the biggest twist. "You guys seem to be fighting right after getting married, but remember, the camera is still rolling."
"What do you mean?"
"Well, you know what Ryder said. He has many acquaintances and wanted many people to watch the wedding online. You can't just stop the online camera midway." Ryder's face turned pale as he realized what I meant.
"Does this mean this whole conversation has been broadcasted?"
"Looks like it. Normally, no one expects a wedding to turn into such an embarrassing spectacle." Ryder's expression stiffened and he grew increasingly pale.
"What do we do? This is bad."
"What's so bad about it?" Emily asked, not understanding the severity of the situation. I decided to explain it to her. "This online wedding, people from Ryder's work are watching, right? Including people from his next transfer location?"
"No way."
"Yes, exactly. He was looking forward to showing off to his colleagues and getting a promotion at his new position. Nobody expected someone up for a promotion to cause such a scandal." Ryder turned pale and finally collapsed to his knees. After that, things went downhill for Emily and Ryder. Emily, who had thought she was marrying an elite banker and the son of a major company's CEO, was devastated when the truth unfolded. Emily was deeply shaken because she had firmly believed that Ryder was an elite banker and his family owned a prestigious corporation. However, it turned out that Ryder's father was just the owner of a small company located in one of the office buildings my father owns in the city. This revelation came to light when they attended the wedding, saw the seating chart, and recognized his father's face. In the venue, while my parents were about to leave, the man desperately apologizing was actually Ryder's father. Despite having already submitted their marriage certificate, Emily and Ryder couldn't call off the marriage and had to continue their married life, albeit reluctantly. Ryder's promotion at his new job was also jeopardized, becoming the guy who embarrassed himself at his wedding. Having their private insults and Ryder's affair exposed at the wedding was undoubtedly humiliating. Nevertheless, Ryder had no choice but to stick with his current job at the bank, now being treated like an outcast. His sales performance plummeted, and the wedding fiasco became a widely known tale. Moreover, someone recorded the guests leaving the wedding one by one, and this footage became a famous wedding mishap video online. Emily and Ryder, who never expected to become infamous in such a way, are now living covertly, wearing off-season masks and sunglasses when walking through the streets. As for me, I continue to live my days in my hometown. There's no glitz or glamour, but I still get my work done and enjoy shopping and reading on weekends. There are joys in a lifestyle that fits me well, and I feel that this is not so bad. I've also experienced a fresh start in my life. I've been getting along well with a salesperson who joined our company mid-year.
He may not have outstanding academic achievements or career milestones, but his constant thoughtfulness for me is evident. Meeting a man with kindness like sunshine, I am now savoring my own happiness.